Hello, trader. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching me from. My name is Anthony. Welcome to our channel. And for those who are watching me for the first time, as I've said, my name is Anthony. So, as usual, we normally do our top down analysis on every Saturday and on every Wednesday. So, if you want to learn more about this, so kindly, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you'll be the first person to be notified immediately I upload a new video. So before we dive into our analysis today, so I want to have a quick recap on how the week has been. So to my side, the week has been good. So I managed to take two trades. So one on gold and the other one on Euro USD. And I'm going to show you shortly what made me took that trade, how I managed that trade, from the entry all the way to the exit. So sit back, relax and enjoy. And always make sure you learn something before the end of every week, every video that I upload to this channel. Because that is the essence of me doing all this video. It's for you to gain something, make sure you learn something, and always make sure to practice and utilize the knowledge to your advantage. So I'm going to start with the gold. What made me take this sell on gold? Uh, so here I'm on 1 hour time frame, but let me just go to daily time frame. I want to show you something. So from the daily time frame, you can agree with me. Overall, by the way, overall bias for the gold is bullish. But always remember, market does not just move to one direction. Whenever market has this impulsive or extension or the rally to the upside, always expect the market to come for a pullback before a continuation. So we saw from few weeks back, market came, tapped to this order block from, I think it was from the weekly time frame. We tapped from this order block, and from there we saw the market rejecting from that area. So, and you can see the market has been buying from that area. So early this week, I think this was on Tuesday, we saw gold had a very massive sell. Gold had this massive sell to the downside. So I saw gold tap to this order block. You see, we have this order block here from the daily time frame. You can also decide to refine it to this last candle before the heavy G. You see, we have this last candle before the heavy G. So gold tap to that order block, and you can see we are having a rejection from there. So if I go to 4 hour time frame, so honestly, this is what I had after the gold. Last week it closed somewhere here, and then we had this break of structure to the upside. So I was expecting the gold to come. This was my anticipation, expecting the gold to come to this order block and buy from here. But now there is advantage of waiting for confirmation before taking any entry, guys. This is the importance of waiting for a confirmation. I think I uploaded a recent video on what we are supposed to wait before taking any entry, guys. So make sure you utilize that video, watch that video, and if you cannot understand it for the first time, make sure you download it and you watch it several times until you understand it. Uh, you understand it better. So once I saw gold sold and violated this zone and went ahead and gave us this change of character to the downside. So I knew for the time being we were selling. So for the time being, the gold was selling. So gold came to this order block, tapped to this order block, and I saw this rejection from here. So now, from the 4 hour, this is what I saw. You can see here we have a very nice fair value gap. You see, we have this FVG here from the 4 hour time frame. We had this massive FVG. Okay, let me extend it. You see, we have this FVG. I believe you know what is a fair value gap. So that was my point of interest. So if the gold was going to buy, I was expecting the gold to go ahead and close above this FVG. If we get a close above this FV, that is when I could have said now gold is ready to buy. But now once the gold tapped to this FVG, I started seeing this rejection from this FVG. So you see market rejected from here. We had some rejection from here. So this is when I decided to shift to the lower time frame. So I went to 1 hour time frame. So from the 1 hour time frame, there was nothing to see. So I went to 15 minutes time frame and I saw something very interesting because now here on the 15 minutes time frame, you can agree with me, this was our last break of structure to the downside. And I said that if the gold now has to buy, I should see gold closing above this high. So we have this. This was our my protected high. Although someone might be asking, well, sir, why do are we saying that this is a valid break of structure? And then you can see that this pullback never swept any inducement. So if you go to 5 minutes time frame, I think your answer question will be answered. If you go to the 5 minutes time frame, you can see there was a minor inducement, not minor, but we had a liquidity being swept here. We had this internal structure being taken out and then break to the upside, the downside. So making this one to be a very strong high or a protected high. So what I did, I marked this order block here. So I refined this POI and I marked this order block. Then I said I want to see what the market will behave once it tapped to this area. And there is something that was interesting that made me start looking for this selling opportunity. Why? If you compare the candle momentum when the market was pushing to the downside and the candle momentum when the market is going to this retracement, you can really tell between the bears and the bulls who is really in control of this market. You can see the bulls are struggling to push this market to the upside compared to the bears when they were taking this market to the downside. So I said now I need to see what the market will do once it's up to this area. So once the market up to this area, so I went to the lower time frame, that is 5 minutes time frame, and I let me just turn on my indicator for you to see the session. So I went here. You can see the London never gave me anything. So this is what I wanted to see. You see the Asia high is the liquidity and also the Asia low is liquidity. So this I marked this one as my liquidity. So I wanted to see market taking out that liquidity. So it took that liquidity past the London session. So but during the New York session, let me first of all remove this. So once the market up to this area, you see, market pushed to the upside, swept this liquidity above this high, went ahead and gave me a change of character. And this was my confirmation, my guys. So what did I do? I went back to 15 minutes time frame to mark my PO high. What did I mark? I marked this order block. That is where I took my entries, guys. So I marked the last buy before the sell. That was my entry. And you can see what happened. Immediately during the New York Open, market bought tap to my entry. You see, this is where I had my sell limit. So market tapped here. That is where I had my sell limit, stop loss, and few pips above there. And where was my target, guys? The target was below this low here. Sorry, the target was below this low. There. And this was around almost 1:5 risk to reward. So how did I manage my trade, guys? Immediately I saw the candle closing below this low. That is where I had my break even, right? So this is where I went break even once I saw the market taking out this low here with the candle close. So I went break even and just let the trade run. And you can see the trade just went to my TP. Now, this is how powerful it is when you combine the context, and that is the video that I uploaded recently on my YouTube channel. How to combine the context with the right execution. That means with the right time of the day. You can see my trade was taken exactly during the New York session, and that is how I take my trades, guys. I either trade during the London window or the New York window. Once I don't see the setup on those two sessions, then I close my day and come back the next day. And that is how I managed to catch that very beautiful sale on gold. Now let's go to Euro USD. I want to show you what I did on Euro USD. Let's go to higher time frame, 4 hour time frame. All right, I think from our analysis that we did on Wednesday, this is what I saw. So we had this break of strategy to the upside. So I'm not going to explain so much about this. So if you want more explanation on that, make sure to to revisit the video and watch on how we did this analysis. So we had this break of strategy to the upside. Market came down, swept this inducement. We had this minor inducement being taken out. Market tapped to this order block from the 4 hour time frame, and I saw this very nice rejection from there. And then if you go down to the lower time frame, that is 1 hour time frame, there is something I saw here. And I saw once the market reacted from this area, you can see the Euro USD, we don't have that strong momentum to the upside. The market is really struggling to push to the upside. And when I saw once the market was somewhere here, I saw the market was trying to face is difficult to break this high. You see, we have a lot of rejection within this high. Then I had to ask myself, what is really here? And I looked to the left and I saw we have a very nice AVG here. So market came to the 50% of that AVG, and we started seeing rejection from that area. So because this is now the 1 hour PO high, I went to 5 minutes time frame. So someone might say, but you told us there is a change of character here. So we had this eternal change of character here. So we had break of structure. This was the last break of structure. Then we had a change of character. So initially, this is what I was looking for. Initially, I was looking for market to come to this FVG. I think that is the analysis that you remember. So I was anticipating this day on Wednesday for the Euro USD to come to this area, and I will take that counter trend towards this area, right? That was my anticipation. But you can see during the London market never pulled back to this. So what it did just continue buying to that area. So on this day, guys, I never saw ending. There was nothing to trade on this day. So what I did, I waited for the next day, that is on Thursday, and that is when my setup came in. Let's go back there and show you what I saw. If you look at the 5 minutes time frame here, you can see this was the last break of structure to this PO high. You see, we had a break of structure to this PO high. Market gave us a change of character. We had this change of character here on Wednesday during the New York session. But still, this momentum was not good enough for me. So, or even though also this one, you can see the change of character happens towards the end of the session. So I never got anything to trade. So this is what I waited for the next day, and this is what I saw. You can see after the market had this change of character here, what did the market do? Came up, swept this internal liquidity. You see, we have this minor inducement being swept here, and then market had some consolidation because was towards the midnight, so we don't expect to see really any good movement towards this time of the day. So market pushed down, and this is where I had my strong change of character, right? So we had a sweep of liquidity, we had internal liquidity being taken out, and then a break of structure to the downside. So now I went to 15 minutes time frame, and that is when I marked my order block. We see we have very nice order block, although this order block was resting above the Asia high. But now, because now this high was a strong high because it swept liquidity here, right? Sometimes it depends with the context or the structure that the market is providing to us. If you look at this, what market did during this Asia, can you say that we have a liquidity above this and the liquidity below this? No, because one, you can see market really traded very well during this Asia session. Market never consolidated. When we are saying we normally have liquidity above the Asia and low, that is when we have the Asia being a consolidation. For instance, like here, you can see the Asia was a consolidation, right? So here, for this kind of an example, you can say that you have liquidity above here and liquidity below there. Okay. Let me show you another example. Also, this one, you can see the Asia was really consolidating. Market never had any good momentum during that session. You can see we have a consolidation. Asia high and Asia low is liquidity. The same here, we have a consolidation. So whenever we have the Asia session being consolidation, that is where you can say we have the liquidity above and the liquidity below the Asia high and low. So that is where I marked my PO high. And where did we see our entry coming in handy, guys? Exactly during the London session. You see, market came all the way up here, tapped the my PO high, and then sold from there. Very beautiful trade. This was almost 1:6. You see, that was a very beautiful trade that I managed to catch on Wednesday. So there is this trade here that this was Thursday, guys. So this was yesterday on Friday, but I didn't take this trade. I ended up missing this entry. So after market gave me this break of structure to the downside, so I marked also this. This was my PO high. So I was expecting the market to come here on the next day, that is yesterday during the London session, and then if market gives me confirmation, I was going to take that sell. But you can see market up here during the Asia, so I was not really on chart during this time. I was really sleeping, so I never got that entry. So, but I woke up somewhere here. So what I saw, I went down to 5 minutes. Remember, this is a 15 minutes PO high, so I really went down to the lower time frame. So here we are on the 5 minutes time frame. What did I see? So always, guys, I'm always reading the market structure, and nothing is changing, guys. I always have this to follow my rules and my plan. What do I see? I see this low being taken out, and I saw a break of structure. So this was my last strong break of structure. What do we see? Towards the end of the Asia session, market gave us a change of character. So I say now, where are you supposed to sell from? You can see we have this I as our liquidity. If you go to 15 minutes time frame, you can see very clearly we have this order block. Was that order block? Not that one. We have this very nice order block here uh on 15 minutes time frame, right? But now if you try to look at this trade, happened when this was happening prior to my trading window. So I ended up missing this trade. You see, the London started from here at 11 my time zone. So I ended up missing this entry. Although it was a very beautiful trade entry, we have an order block, liquidity below it, very nice entry. If I was to take this trade, my stop loss could have been here. Remember, this is Asia high. So, and you can see we're having a lot of liquidity above here. So I could not have a very tight stop loss. So if you can see, even if you place your stop loss above here, this is around 8 pips stop loss. It's a very fair stop loss. So this one, I just watched it run. So I never got any re-entry, guys. I never got a re-entry. So I was expecting once we had a break of structure here to the downside. So I was anticipating for a market to come to this order block here from the 15 minutes time frame. And then I think it was 15 or 5 minutes. Let me see whether we had something on 5. Okay, so on 5 minutes time frame, I wanted market to come to this order block here, and then I take my re-entry. But market never had that pullback, continue selling and selling. So I ended up missing that beautiful trade. But you can see the trade was a win, and it was a very beautiful sell. So guys, that is how my week was. I had very beautiful trade, two beautiful trade, both were wins. So, guys, that one has been said. Let us just now go back to our top down analysis. Let's dive in and do our analysis and see what the market has to offer for the coming week. So, now if I go to 4 hour time frame, higher time frame, remember it's a new week, so it's good to start from the weekly time frame. So, from the weekly time frame, what do we really see, guys? Okay, so you can see very clearly market is rejecting from this. After market took out this liquidity, you can see market swept that low, and really we closed inside there. So that means the market is respecting that zone. We are having a liquidity sweep, and the market is really closed below that, above this liquidity, meaning now the market is having a rejection from here. So what I can really anticipate is that maybe market will have a small retracement to fill this gap here, maybe tap to this order block and continue selling, or market will just open and continue selling from here. But now, how do we know about this one? That is where we go down to the lower time frame and observe the market structure from there. Remember, we are coming from the higher time frame. And don't forget, guys, that I showed you guys from our last analysis that the weekly time frame is bearish. So this was our last break of structure to the downside. Market is reacting from this higher time frame, extreme P or high. That is this FVG, which is sitting at the extreme. So we might see the Euro USD coming to the downside and take out this strong low. And we said once we see the GBP Euro USD taking out this low, once we see a change of character to the downside, then expect the GBP USD Euro USD to trade all down there and take out this low and also this low and continue selling. Although that one can take a lot of time, but once we have this confirmation, then we are ready to sell. But until then, we are still bullish, right? The internal structure is still bullish. So we reacted from that zone. So once the market up to this area, so we are going to go down to the lower time frame and see what really market is doing within these areas. Because if you are honestly, guys, remember we have a very big what you call a liquidity void here. So we have a very big FVG that the market left here, and always we know market does not just leave these imbalances without coming back to fill these gaps. So we might see the market having that pullback come to fill this gap, and maybe we continue selling. But that one, it has to be confirmed by the lower time frame. Remember, market is not predictive but reactive. You will always just try trade what you see, not what you think, right? So from the lower time frame, I think for hour we don't have nothing good. So here on the 1 hour time frame, this is what I am watching. So let me just first of all delete all this. Want to make my chart to be clean now. I don't need all this. So from what I can see, so this is my last internal breakout structure. So we have this last internal breakout structure to the downside. So if the market is going to close above here, if the market is going to close above here, then now I'll no longer be looking for any selling opportunity. I'll wait for a pullback and continue buying. But if the market is going to respect this eye, maybe a sweep of that eye and then continue selling, we continue selling, guys, right? Because we know very well we have a lot of imbalances here. So we have market fill these gaps. So we have these gaps above here. And if you look at the external structure, we can see we have a break of structure here to the downside. Sorry, we have this break here to the downside. And that is our last strong break of structure to the downside. See? So we have this BOS to the downside, right? So market might be coming here to fill these gaps. We also have a gap here. So, and then continue selling. So whatever, if we got that change of character here, that will be an internal change of character, because you know for a fact this is our protected high. Sorry. So this is our protected high here, and this is our low down here. So if the market will come above here, because if we pick our Fibonacci place from the swing high to the swing low, we can really see that we are currently on the discount, and this is not the area that you should be looking for any selling opportunities. Although someone might say, why did you take that selling opportunities here? Because market was still bearish. So market was still bearish, and I always trade what I see, and the market gave me a reason to sell, right? But looking at the external structure, this is where you are supposed to look for your selling opportunities. So because when the market is bearish, we always want to sell at the premium way, not at the discount, right? So that is my anticipation, and that is what I'm watching for on GBP Euro USD. So we have these imbalances here to be filled. We also have an imbalance here. So let's really wait and see what the market will do. I've said if we get that break here to the upside, that will be our internal change of character. Wait for a pullback and continue buying, targeting those areas here to continue selling. But by any means, if the market will break this eye, that will be our confirmation for us to start looking for buying opportunities and I will know for a fact that market will be coming for these highs above there. So that is my analysis on Euro USD. I don't know what you think about this, so tell me on the comment section. And by the way, guys, if you want to learn this one on one with me, so I have a private mentorship, so you can find the link in the description of this video, the link to my WhatsApp, and then I will guide you on how to join the mentorship. So looking at the DXY, because always if you want to trade the dollar, it is always advisable to look at the DXY. If you look at the DXY, it's behaving almost the same with the Euro USD. We got this change of character. Market swept this liquidity here. And if you go to the weekly, you can see DXY is respecting this high. It took out the inducement here or the liquidity here and it closed inside. So that one might be a signal to us. The GBP DXY might be ready to start selling. But now we have to get that confirmation from the lower time frame. If you go to the 1 hour daily time frame, you can see it is really finding it difficult to break this high here because we are having a kind of if you try to look here, we have a kind of resistance to this area. So we have this kind of resistance here, right? You see market rejecting from this area several times. You have the first time, second time, third time, and then the fourth time. So we're having some kind of resistance within this area here. So that one gives us a confidence that maybe we might see a bearish week ahead, right? So going down to 4 hour time frame, what do we see? Let me just go to 1 hour time frame. And looking at the DXY on 1 hour time frame, this is my last break of structure to the upside. So we have this break of structure to the upside. So this is what I want to see. If the DXY is really wants to sell, I need to see candle closing below this low. Once I see this low, this sell closing below this low, then now we are ready to sell because this one might be just a pullback market to come to react to this area because you can see we have this order flow here that was not mitigated. Market might be coming to this order block and then continue buying. So if we really want to sell, I should see DXY closing below this low and then I wait for a pullback and continue selling. And that is how you combine your context. You don't just gamble, guys. You trade with knowledge, right? So always make sure you have an edge and your rules to follow. If you don't see the what you are anticipating, then don't take any trade from there, guys, right? So that is what I'm watching on DXY. So that is what I will be waiting for. Going to the GBP USD. So what do we have on GBP USD, guys? So from the GBP USD, the same to the Euro USD, GBP came tapped to this VG from the higher time frame. So you can really revisit the other video that I posted on Wednesday on how we managed to catch this to do this analysis here. Then I said, now if you are ready to buy on GBP USD, then I should see this high being violated. You see, we have this protected high. Why that high? Because you can see from up here, we have been selling. The trend is really selling. We have been on a bearish trend on GBP USD. And if you look closely, this is our last break of structure to the downside. And if you are really ready to buy, then we should see GBP USD violating this high, right? We should see a change of character here. If the market will close above here, that is when we will get our change of character to the upside, right? So market came to this order block, I think from the 4 hour time frame is very visible. You see we have this very nice order block and we had some selling opportunities from there. Very beautiful sell. I'm not going to visit all that because we have seen that one on Euro USD. So yesterday there is something I was looking for here to trade, guys. So if you look down here, we had an internal change of character here. So this is an internal change of character. We had a sweep of this inducement, push to sweep the low, and then market gave us internal change of character. So early Wednesday, I was looking to take a counter trade from this order block. I will really uh opt that the GBP USD will come here and then maybe give me that confirmation to buy. But What happened, guys? Just it continue buying and tap to this order block from the 4-hour time frame. So once we tap to this order block now, I changed my bias. Remember, the trend is bearish, because we have a break of structure to the downside, and I've seen this from many of you traders. People don't really understand between the external structure and internal structure, guys. So whatever is happening inside here is an internal structure. The trend is bearish because this is where we had the last break of structure. So this is our swing high and this is our swing low. So whatever is happening inside here is an internal structure. But once the market comes to this P or high here, or this point of interest from the higher time frame, if you pick our Fibonacci, you can see very clearly the P or high was at the extreme, right? So uh so that is when I said now I want to see what the market is going to do here. So if you have to buy, if you have to sell, then I should see a confirmation from this area. So because that is was a 4-hour point of interest, so I went to 15 minutes time frame. And what do we see? So this is our last break of structure, internal break of structure. So this day really I never saw anything. So I waited for the next day, which was Thursday. So Thursday market gave me change of character to the downside. What do we see? This was a last break to the upside, and then market gave me a change of internal change of character to the downside. So yesterday, this is what I was watching. I was expecting the GBP USD, because after the market takes out the external structure, internal becomes liquidity, right? And you can see this is our minor inducement here. We had a very nice order block above it, which had already swept an inducement. You see an inducement being taken out, then a push to the downside. So market never tapped to this order block. So I said, then I saw the Asia session really consolidating above here, never took any inducement. So this was my liquidity. We have this relative equal highs here, and then this was my point of interest. So during the London session, so market never tapped to this order block. You see, market missed the order block, reacted from the AVG. But what I wanted to see is the market sweeping this liquidity, and I saw market sweeping that liquidity. So I was really looking for a confirmation here for me to take a trade, because always look for confirmation, guys. Don't take aggressive entries. I've really learned through the hard way. That's why nowadays I don't take aggressive entry, guys. So what did I see during the London session? And you can see how powerful these sessions are. You can see the kind of how the market moved during the London comparing to what market moved during the Asia. You see, the Asia was consolidation, but the London market moved very well. The same to Asia, New York, sorry. You see, we had a very nice movement here. If you measure the amount of pips the market moves during the London, you can see it moved 61 pips, guys. 61 pips. But if you look at the Asia, market moved how many pips? You can see this was around 21 pips. So you can see, and even the Asia, not the Asia, I don't know why I'm keeping on repeating this. New York session, you can see market moved 61 pips, guys, right? So it is always good to take your trade during this session, because there is always a lot of momentum, a lot of we have a lot of momentum during this session. We have what you call volatility. That is the right word. So we have a lot of volatility during this session of the day. So this is what I saw. I had this was my last break of structure. Market swept that liquidity, and then I saw the change of character. So I thought the GBP USD is going to give me that pullback before continuation, but really never had that pullback. So I ended up missing that trade. I didn't want to trade during the New York session, and this is why I normally tell you guys it is always if you want to trade the news. So yesterday we had a very high impact in news, and I always tell you guys the best way to trade the news is by not trading at all. So if you have to trade during a high impact news day, so what you are supposed to do, wait for the news to be released. Then after news, that is when you should be looking for your selling your entry. So what happened? So you can see the what news did, guys, right? So if I just placed my entry here, limit order here, blindly, stop loss above here, I could have been stopped out, right? Now, because my rules says for the rules to apply, there must be no high impact news on that day, right? That is how my plan tells me. So really, that what saved me from this loss here. So I never took this trade, which it's a very good thing because I never had that loss. So what am I seeing currently? You see, I think now we are having a change of character to the upside. You have an internal change of character to the upside. But what I really am looking for, I need to see market violating this high. Once I see the change of character to the upside, then I'll definitely start looking for more buying opportunity, guys. So maybe by Wednesday, market would have told us, would have shown us which direction are we really trading to. So make sure to be around on Wednesday because that is when I will post another video on update on what the market has done. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, kindly make sure you do so because that is when I will have that update, right? So that is it on GBP USD. So for the young traders, so I also have analysis on GBP JPY. Let me go start from the higher time frame, 4 hour time frame. So from the 4 hour time frame, you can really see we had this break of structure. But let me show you something from the higher time frame. If you look at the weekly time frame, what do we see? Weekly is really bullish. That is always what you can see. We can see the real weekly is really bullish. The market has been bullish for a while. So that is what the weekly time frame is telling us. Even though the lower time frame might be bearish, but you have to bear in mind that the weekly time frame, what is happening on the higher time frame. And if you look closely, we have this kind of a resistance turning to support here. You see, we had this resistance. A high city called this one a breaker block. So we had this breaker block here, something of that sort. And for me, this is just a resistance turning to support. You see, the market broke this resistance, market tapped here, and you can see we are having a reaction from this area. From there, you can see for the past 3 weeks, we have been bullish. This week, we had last week, and a week before then. So we have been bullish, guys. So it is good now to just follow the trend. You can see the trend is now aligning with this higher time frame trend, which we are bullish. So let me just identify this one as a support zone. We are having GBP USD reacting from that support zone. Let's go now to daily time frame. So what do we see on the daily time frame? Immediately the market tapped to this area. You can see we have an internal change of character. 4 hour time frame, good. So from the 4 hour time frame, this was the last break of structure. Then you can see we had a change of character. Market really came to this area. We have this last sell before the buy. So this is our order flow. We have this last sell before the buy. Market came to that, up to that zone, and we are really buying from that area. If you go to 1 hour time frame, we'll see that order block. You can see the market reacted from this order block from the 1 hour time frame, and we are really buying from there. So what do we see here, guys? This is the importance of doing the top down analysis, guys. You always know where you are heading to and where you are coming from, right? So from the 1 hour time frame, this is my last internal break of structure. You see, this is the last break of structure, not this one. There is a reason I'm using this one because you can see it took the inducement here and then a break to the downside. So from here to here, it's one leg for me. And you can see the market gave us this change of character to the downside. What do I see? What do we see? This was my protected low and this was my targeted low. Remember on Wednesday, I told you if you are really selling, then because what I saw that GBP USD was really consolidating within this area. Then I told you guys, I need to see the GBP USD breaking out of this consolidation, either to the downside or to the upside. And you can see yesterday, the GBP JPY gave us that. You can see we have a break from this consolidation. So the market broke from this consolidation. And what do we see about this law? Market respected this law because this is our protected law. What do we see? After this break of structure, market came down, swept this minor inducement because from down here to up here, there was no any other internal structure except this one. So market came down, swept this liquidity, had a small buy from there, came back again, swept the low, and from there it got enough momentum or enough liquidity to continue buying to the upside. And from what I can see, now I have a break of structure to the upside. I can remove this internal change of character, and then this protected eye now will change to my break of structure, right? So this is what I'm watching on GBP USD, because from the 1 hour time frame, I don't see any other PO high, but I see this order block here. So if we can get that pull back, if we can get that pull back towards this area, this is where I will look for my buying opportunities, my entry here, stop loss, some few pips below there, and the target should be where? This eye. This should be your hot term target. So this is the analysis on GBP USD. We have liquidity above it. I don't know how you think about this analysis, but that is what I'm currently seeing on GBP JPY. Sorry, guys. So this is my protected low now. So if you get that pullback towards this area, this is where you should look for your entries, targeting the buy side liquidity. Euro USD, Euro JPY currently, guys, I don't have anything good. I don't have anything good here on GBP Euro JPY. Uh, Although now this one came to this area here, you can see this is our last break of structure. This was a fake BOS. I think I explained this one on our previous analysis, so make sure you do that. Watch the video and you learn how you manage to catch this buy from here. So this was our last strong low. Market came here and you can see we are having a really good reaction from that zone, right? So if looking at observing the internal structure, maybe you can say we have a change of character, because observing the internal structure, we have this break to the downside. We have the sweep of this internal, then a break to the downside. Let me call it this one a break, maybe. But this one is an internal break. We have an internal break. Market gave us a change of character here to the upside. So we have an internal market structure shift. Market came down, failed to sweep this liquidity, so reacted from this order block. So market is reacting from that order block. And although the order block was not a high probability order block, because it had already been mitigated, let us go to 30 minutes and try to check whether we have anything. 30 minutes, we don't have anything. 15 minutes, we don't have anything. But the market is really reacting from this area. And then we are having that buy momentum from that zone. So going back to, you can see we have a break of structure here to the upside. We have a break of structure to the upside. So maybe you can wait for Euro USD, Euro JPY down here. We have the last sell before the buy. You can get that pull back towards this area, then you continue buying. But this is not a good POI for me, because this low never swept any inducement. So if I have to buy from here, then I will have to wait for another confirmation to continue buying. So guys, that is my analysis. I think for those who love trading gold, guys, let me just have a quick recap on gold. So we have said generally gold is bullish, guys. Gold is bullish. So what I really want to see, if I'm going to buy gold, because this is my last internal break of structure to the downside. That is my last internal break of structure to the downside. So if I really have to buy gold, then I should see gold giving me an internal change of character. So if I see gold closing above this eye, then I wait for a pullback and look for my entry. Until then, the internal structure is bearish, guys. The internal structure is bearish. Market might react from this area and continue selling. But if you get that break to the upside, now I'll start looking for buying opportunities. So guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Uh, just a quick reminder for those who haven't subscribed to the channel, kindly do so. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell. So see you on Wednesday. Until next time, it's a bye bye for now.